What's up, besties? It's your girl Morgan here, and you're listening to Your Internet Best Friend. Besties, hi, hello, coming to you live from freaking Indonesia. You're listening to Your Internet Best Friend, the podcast with Morgan Willette. I am currently sitting in a villa. I don't know if you're watching on YouTube, you can kind of see behind me. It's actually insane. I'm sitting in a villa in Canggu, Bali. It's a two-bedroom, insane villa. I'm here by myself. I'm here for a wedding. It took me 24 freaking hours on an airplane to get here. I am ready to live my best life. So we're gonna go over my travel adventure, my first 48 hours in Bali. We've got, if I'm here 17 freaking days, y'all, 17 days. So we've got a lot of trip left, but so far I'm going to, give y'all a little scoop-de-doo on what I've been up to. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're like, Morgan, what's happening with your hair right now? Y'all, the humidity in Bali, it is what? Maybe like 80 degrees, but it is 98% humidity. So the fact that my hair is looking remotely decent is insane, because underneath all of this, we've got sweat. We've got sweat pouring down my back right now. I think since the second I stepped off that airplane, I have not stopped sweating once. But beyond that, Bali is absolutely stunning, amazing, beautiful, majestic, whimsical, wanderlust, epicness. I'm all the words. That is Bali. But before I get into all of that, let's do a little life update, shall we? Because I've seen the messages on Instagram. I'm so thrilled that you guys are loving the episodes. Also, shout out to producer Courtney texted me before this, and she was like, dude, like 179 5-star reviews after my 1 week having a podcast. Y'all, I'm so thankful. I love you all. If you have not liked, listened, subscribed, told your mom, your grandma, your boyfriend, tell them to go write a little 5-star review. Anywho, a life update. Because on the last 2 episodes, I talked a bit about dating. So let's give just a brief little update. Okay, so I mentioned a double date. That was cool. We went on the double date. I'm gonna give a little update because on Shelby's episode, I mentioned bailing on a first date. So the person I bailed on was the guy from the double date. We were supposed to meet up one-on-one. I ended up bailing. I still feel bad about that, but I have a fun little update, y'all. I'm like a giddy 12-year-old. I did go, after I bailed on the first date and said I had food poisoning, oops. I did go on another first date with another person that I'm actually really excited about. What? I know. I have not been excited about a date in a long time. I literally feel like I'm back in middle school, but I don't want to give too much information now. I know you guys are like, excuse me, we are your best friends. Tell us everything. It's in the new stages. I also am a weird, superstitious person. I don't want to jinx this yet, but I will say I am excited. And if you follow me on TikTok, which if you don't, what are you doing? I post a lot of random things on the talk, but I posted something, I don't know, a couple weeks ago about the first date uniforms. I don't know if you guys saw that, but basically, if you're like, Morgan, what the hell is the first date uniform? Let me fill you in. So the first date uniform, I stumbled upon this on some other blogger's Instagram. She was talking about this, and I was like, whoa, okay, we're gonna try it, because desperate times calls for desperate measures, because my dating life has not been successful since moving to Nashville. So the first date uniform is simple. It's like a black tank top or a black bodysuit, any form of a black top, and then it is denim on the bottom. So think black on top, denim jeans, denim skirt, denim shorts on the bottom. So I was going on this first date, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna wear the uniform. I'm gonna see what happens, because this girl then showed all these responses from other people weighing in, and they were like, oh my God, I wore this on my first date, and then I met my future fiance, the love of my life, my husband. I was like, all right, shit, I got nothing to lose. So I wore it. First date went very, very well. We've hung out, I don't know, a few times since then, and I'm gonna leave that one at that. I think as this progresses, I will maybe share a little bit more information. Fear not, though. I will still continue. I have stories about bad dates for days. I will continue to share those. But we'll see. Oh my God, I'm like smiling. I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually excited about this one, y'all. So send me a little prayer that, I don't know, maybe it works out. And you know what? If it doesn't work out, I still firmly believe everything happens for a total reason. So we'll keep you updated on that one. But this is how you guys know. This is how you know that I actually am kind of digging this situation, because my friend, who is actually the guy who put me on Big Brother, his name is Adam Cook. Hey Adam, what's up? He texted me right before I left to go to Bali, and he was like, hey, I have an opportunity for you. Instantly my ears opened up a little bit, and I was like, ooh, tell me more, Adam. Even though I have sworn off reality TV, I've mainly sworn off MTV, because MTV is the bane of my existence, and I find it to be a very toxic, negative network. Sorry, it's my podcast. I'm allowed to say what I want, but that's how I feel about it. I think it breeds toxicity, for lack of better terms. So when he hit me up, he was like, it's not an MTV show. I was like, all right, tell me more. He said it is a dating show that films for like 2 weeks in Italy. And Morgan a month ago would have been like, hell yeah, sign me up immediately. But I went on whatever, my 3 dates I've been on, and I actually turned him down like pretty immediately. I think it's a combination of things. I think I've realized I love Nashville. I love where I live. Even me going to Bali for the 17 days I'm gone, I'm not like homesick because I'm thriving and living my best life, but I actually do miss Nashville a little bit. It feels like home, and I have yet to be able to say that about anywhere that I've lived. Nashville truly feels like home. So I think that was a bit of it. And I also was like, I really don't have a desire to go. I don't even know what network this was. It was like a streaming platform. It's some, I don't know, dating show abroad. I was like, I don't really even feel like, gross. Like the idea of being on camera and having to date men. So I don't know. Maybe that's saying that I met a person. Maybe I met the person. No, I'm just kidding. Ooh, whoa. I hope he's not listening to this, because that would freak a person out. But anyways, turned down that opportunity, which is kind of not like me. Normally I'm a yes girl, but I turned that down, and oh my God, y'all. Sorry. Okay. Anyways, so that's the dating story. The first date uniform, it supposedly did work. So will this be my future husband? Who freaking knows? But we'll report back. Anyways, let's talk about infant baby neighbor, because I was just reminded of this as I was flying to Bali. I think if you listen to the first episode, if you have not listened to the first episode, you might want to go back, because it's not going to make a lot of sense until you listen. So the first episode, my infant baby neighbor, that I unfortunately, okay, whatever. We made out, etc. Cinco de Mayo did me dirty. He texted me. I got so embarrassed, I actually deleted the message. Like, I got anxiety. But essentially, he texted me. He said, hey, with a bunch of buddies, we have a cooler full of watered down White Claw at the pool. Join us later, with an A. Join us later if you want. And at first, I thought he was being serious. It went straight over my head. And I literally responded, and I said, ... I'm in Indonesia, LOL. And then he responded, he goes, haha, no, I know, I'm kidding. Nice podcast, y'all. He said, nice podcast. He listened to the podcast. When I say I melted into my seat, I started instantly sweating. It's like, oh my God, that's how all the sweating has not stopped since this moment, but started sweating. It's like, why the hell is my neighbor listening to this podcast? Anyway, so I had this little like freak out moment where I was like, should I be censored? Should I be more censored on this podcast? Like, what if people in my life that I'm dating or I'm interested in, like, what if they listen to this? Anyways, that thought went out the window. Now I'm just like, I'm back to not caring. And infant baby neighbor, if you're listening to this, what? I didn't say anything bad. I simply said, I was just trying to help you out, okay? I'm trying to help you out and tell you to stop texting and spelling later with an 8, because I don't think that females like that. But I think you're very nice. And if you are listening to this, please send me a picture of Maple, because I've been trying to sneak a picture in the elevator when we're in the elevator together, because the people of Instagram want to see this cute puppy that lured me into an apartment, but I've yet to do that. So if you want to text me one so then I can show people, thank you. Anyways, guys, that is a little update on baby neighbor, my dating life. Who freaking knows what's going to happen? But let's dig into Bali. Let's dig in. You know what? And my type A self before this, she took some notes. Is anyone surprised by that? No, they're not. Okay, so we're in Bali for a wedding. One of my friends, so actually the girl that I'm here in Bali with who's getting married, she is Voldemort's, if you know, you know, Voldemort, or aka my ex. It is his old roommate. So when we first started dating, she lived in his house. I became friends with her. That's how this all happened. So, and what's kind of nice is there's always a silver lining in any breakup situation. There's always is. Whether you want to believe it or not, if you look hard enough, there's always some kind of positive silver lining. So that was like a pretty negative situation. It was pretty hard for me, but so much good came from it. And this friendship actually came from it. So we've stayed in touch, and she, I don't know, when was this, 8 months ago, hit me up and was like, do you want to come to Bali for a wedding? And I said, twist my arm, I'll book my flight right now. So I actually did book a flight, which, by the way, y'all, if you are not, I'm just going to shamelessly plug this. Maybe I'll link my referral code in the notes of this on YouTube. But the Chase Sapphire Preferred card is the best travel credit card. I got this flight to Bali round freaking trip for $30. Y'all, $30 freaking dollars. So go invest in the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Go check out my Instagram. I don't know, in like a little story highlight, I explain how I travel hack. Anywho, take the freaking trip. That's what I always have to say. So I'm here for the wedding, but I was supposed to come to Bali with my sister. It's like the universe always tells me that I need to go on these trips by myself. Why? I truly don't know. But I was supposed to come with my sister, and then last minute she ended up having to work. She's trying to save money, being a flight attendant. By the way, if you're a flight attendant, you guys make the income is truly insane. I'm gonna write a letter to the airlines and be like, y'all need to pay your flight attendants more, because that is hard work. And yes, you get flight benefits, but they need to be paying more. Anywho, on a tangent, my sister ended up not being able to come. So I said, okay, I guess this will be a solo trip. I'll go for the wedding, hang out with those people, and then after the wedding, I'll go off and do my own thing, because I went on a Portugal solo trip, as most of you all know, and it truly changed my whole entire life. It opened up so many doors for me. I met insane people. It healed parts of me that I did not know needed to be healed. It taught me so much about myself. So I said, I can go to Portugal by myself. Hell yeah, I can do Bali by myself. But, you know, I started getting a little bit of anxiety, as most do when they're traveling to a place that I've been to Europe many a times. I've never been to Indonesia by myself. So as much as I wanted to be this strong, tough, cool, badass chick who's like traveling through Indonesia by herself, I got a little scared, because hello, I'm a freaking human. So I ended up texting a friend. So the friend who was supposed to go to Portugal with me, I think I mentioned this at some point, but a good friend of mine from high school, fun fact, we actually dated in high school, but now we're just like really good buddies. Like we're like bros, like we fist bump each other. Just kidding. He's going to get so mad at me for saying that, but I like to think like we are buds. He was supposed to go with me to Portugal. Right before Portugal, men are just silly, silly individuals. He was riding his bike at night, hit a pothole, flipped over the handlebars, snapped his collarbone in half, called me literally 2 days before and said, I can't go. And I said, excuse me? Anyways, long story short, because of that, none of the hotels were refundable, and I had this weird calling from the universe that said, I think I need to go on this trip by myself. Ended up going solo. It was epic, iconic. One podcast, I feel like I just want to recount that whole entire situation. So I invited him on this trip because he's like the one person who I know will drop anything to go travel with me. So I said, dude, you want to come to Bali? I've got a wedding. I'm gonna bounce around afterwards. You're more than welcome to join. Like, I'm staying in these epic villas. There are multiple bedrooms. It's just me. So he said, okay. Anyways, what happened with that is, again, this time, literally 2 days ago, he was like, oh my God, you're gonna hate me, but I can't go. And I had a small little panic attack, because I feel like it's kind of like my safety blanket. As much as I want to be this cool badass on social media and be like, yeah, I travel solo, y'all, it is nerve-wracking. I'm not gonna lie. It kind of is scary. You have to put yourself in a position to step outside of your comfort zone, and that is uncomfortable. No one likes doing that. So I think for me, I was like, oh, well, I'm working with all of these hotels. Most of the hotels I'm staying with in Bali, I'm doing social media collabs. And I was like, be so much easier if I have a person to help me, and then I won't have to worry about meeting friends, and like it'll be easier to get around. And then plot freaking twist, the universe again said, joke's on you, Morgan. You are going alone whether you want to or not. So I think that was just a sign that, look, you can run away. You can run away from your gut feeling. You can run away from what the universe is leading you towards, but it has a funny way of forcing you to do what you're meant to be doing. And I really do think I am meant to be on this trip solo. It's empowering, it's exciting, and I don't know what I need to learn about myself. I really don't. I'm like, I feel like I'm pretty freaking healed. I feel like I'm doing real good in my life. Like, I go to therapy weekly. We've gone on a couple different solo trips. What else do I need to learn? But I brought my handy dandy journal, and I am just listening and open to all signs. So for my people out there who want to take a solo trip and you feel it just like nagging on you, run to that feeling, embrace that feeling. It is the universe, God, spirits, whatever you believe in, it is that trying to tell you something. And y'all, it would not be a Morgan trip if there is not some sort of hectic situation that happens as I am traveling to Bali, which, by the way, y'all, Bali is lovely. I highly encourage you to come visit, but the trek to get here is actually mother effing insane. 24 hours on an airplane. So let me paint you a picture as I'm leaving Nashville. I am like kind of packed, kind of not, but I had booked a flight with American Airlines probably 6 months ago. I always fly American Airlines, big American Airlines girly. Travel tip, if you want to gain points and get upgrades and just like be a smart traveler in general, stick to one airline, always book it. I don't care if it's more expensive. It's so much smarter in the long run because whatever, you gain all these miles. So I booked American Airlines, my flight. I had to go Nashville to LA, LA to Singapore, Singapore to Bali. Okay, that was my flight path. But like 3 months ago, American Airlines, for some reason, changed my flight. I didn't know that they could do that, but they're like, oh, plot twist. You're supposed to land at 9, you're landing at midnight now. And I'm like, whoa, American Airlines. My flight to Singapore leaves at like 11, so can't land at midnight. So I ended up having to cancel that flight, okay? That's the important part. I had canceled that American Airlines flight, and I had rebooked a flight on Delta. Okay, but I am a psycho and I live by my Google Calendar. Like everything that I do in life is color coordinated. It is in my Google Calendar. I get notifications and that is what I do. I live by the Google Calendar. And when I canceled that American Airlines flight, the notification did not cancel in my Google Calendar. It was still there. That is the important detail. So I had rebooked a flight on Delta. I think it got in at 3. I was going to have like a 6-hour layover. I was going to go get dinner with a friend. I was going to come back to the airport, fly to Bali. Cool. I forgot about all of this. I'm wrapped up in packing. I had a ride to the airport from a cute individual that I'm vibing with that I may have gone on the first date with. So he was going to take me to the airport. And before, when we went on the date, he was like, when's your flight? And I was like, I get in at 3. I'm going to go to Air One and be annoying because I'm obsessed with Air One. And then the day before, he was like, hey, when's your flight? Like, so I know when to pick you up. For some reason, I had gotten the notification from American Airlines like an hour before the notification from the canceled flight. And it said, your flight leaves at 6:45 from Nashville. And I was like, oh, hey, I must have gotten my times wrong. Yeah, I leave at 6:45. Come pick me up. Guys, I'm an idiot. So the day of, I'm lollygagging. I went and took a Pure Barre class. My clothes are everywhere. It's like 2 p.m. I thought I had until 5 to get to the airport. It is 2:15. I'm walking to Walgreens to get Ziploc baggies to put all my little toiletries in. And all of a sudden, it dawned on me. I was like, oh my God, I got my flights wrong. I don't have an American Airlines flight. I have a Delta flight that leaves at 3 p.m. to get to LAX. And if I miss this and there's not another flight, I'm missing my connection to get from LA to Singapore, which is going to be a huge thing. I was not going to be able to rebook it because I used points. Anyways, I had a full-blown meltdown. I'm crying. I'm panicked. I'm sweating. It's like sweating is like the theme. It's like, oh my God, what's happening? It's my hormones, man. I got off birth control. Everything went to shit. That is a story for another day. I'm panicking. I'm calling Delta. I can't get through to them. by the grace of God, you know what I'm repeating time and time again during this whole situation, which y'all, I swear by this, the lucky girl syndrome. I'm like, I'm lucky. Everything is working in my favor. I'm lucky. Everything is working in my freaking favor. Lo and behold, I go on Delta and there's one seat open on a flight that left at the exact same time as my original American Airlines flight at 6:45. So I ended up snatching that, took a breather, finished packing, got my cute little ride to the airport. I'm annoying. I'm sorry. And I ended up making my flight. That was amazing. And then I get on my flight, I make it, and I start the journey LA to Singapore, which is 18 hours in a tube floating through the sky. And y'all, in case you're wondering, no, I did not splurge on like business class. No, I did not splurge on first class. Your girl is a cheap hoe and she got the economy seat because I wanted to save money, because in my mind, I would rather suffer on that plane and then either splurge on a villa or shopping or some kind of excursion or nice dinner when I get to the place. Like, I never buy the expensive seats. So I was crammed, 3 seats. I was basically snuggling with the guy next to me. That's how like tiny these little seats were. 18 hours in that position. Well, my biggest fear is that I was not going to sleep on this flight, because anytime I travel overseas, if I go to Europe, I cannot sleep on the flights. For some reason, my mind's going a million miles per hour. I'm like, oh, I can buy Wi-Fi, I can work, let me plan, let me make a spreadsheet of all the content I want to get, X, Y, Z. I'm a psychopath, but I don't sleep. That's what you need to know. So on this flight, I said, you know what you're going to do on this? You're going to freaking sleep, whether you want to or not. So I took a Xanax and I took 2 Tylenol PMs. And let me tell y'all, was it smart? I don't know. I don't know if you can mix Xanax and Tylenol PM, but I will say I slept for 9 hours straight and I did not wake up once. I was in like a trance, which was lovely because I woke up and I felt so rested. I also had no idea where I was. It took me like a second to be like, oh my God, I'm on an airplane over the ocean right now and I'm going to Indonesia. So if you're wondering and you're like, oh my God, I have flight anxiety, how do I do it? Well, Xanax. But I will say, guys, okay, I'm not promoting like taking prescription medication. I am prescribed Xanax for my anxiety. I've been prescribed it for a very long time. I'm not telling you to abuse it, but if you do have it, take one of those, 2 Tylenol PMs, you will be out like a freaking light. So that's what I did. And then the rest of the time I got Wi-Fi and I just worked. I started like my little July fitness challenge. I answered emails. I got my content together for the trip. I'm apparently like a psychopath serial killer, I guess, because I did not even watch a movie. Y'all, the whole 24-hour flight over here, I did not watch a movie. It's like I was in some kind of weird trance. I honestly felt like I was in the Matrix. I don't know what was happening, but no, I blinked and I made it to Singapore. But of course, the story gets even better. If you watch my Instagram story, you're probably laughing at this because she's not a track star. She's not a track star. So I'm sprinting through the Singapore airport. That's what you need to know right now. So I land in Singapore. I have 1 hour to get from, actually I had 90 minutes, because I remember I asked the guy at the gate before I left, I said, will I have enough time to make this connection? He's like, oh, you got it, girl. You're fine. So I said, okay, dude. So I land in Singapore, I have 90 minutes. Got to get off my flight, got to find the next terminal, and then get on my flight from Singapore to Bali, which, by the way, if I miss this flight, there was not another flight to Bali that day. I would have to stay the night in Singapore. Bad news. So I land, and I'm feeling okay. She's rested. I also, in that 18-hour flight, I got up one time to go to the bathroom. I apparently did not drink any water. I'm feeling a little dehydrated. She's kind of not well, like health-wise. My ankles are swollen. I'm bloated. My mom called me before I left, and she's like, did you bring your compression socks with you? And I was like, Mom, what? No, I don't own compression socks. I'm not an 80-year-old woman. But apparently you should fly with compression socks. Kim Willette was right. I forgot them. So I'm basically waddling at this point. My ankles are swollen. My calves are bloated. She's an Oompa Loompa. So I'm waddling off this airplane, trying to get to my next terminal. The Singapore airport, y'all, is mother freaking massive. So I asked the guy, I'm like, how do I had to go terminal 2 to terminal 3. And he's like, oh, like, I don't know. Also like very broken English. You take a tram and you go this way. So down the hall, take a right, take a left, do this, get on the tram. And I was like, huh? Okay. So I kind of wander off and I was like, I feel like I'll figure it out, y'all. Did not figure it out. I finally get so frazzled. I'm looking around spastically. Luckily, the woman behind me was also trying to get to the same place as me. So she's kind of following me along. She's like, do you need help? Like, we'll go together. So God bless this woman. I don't know her. I should have asked her name. I hope she's well. So we find the tram. And I realize as I am getting to the tram that I have to go to the next terminal. My flight's boarding. My flight is boarding as I am not near where I need to be. So then I start panicking. The tram says, we'll be here in 5 minutes. So imagine me like pacing back and forth. I'm saying my lucky girl mantra. I am doing whatever I can. I'm saying prayers. I'm like, please God, just let me somehow get on this flight. Anxiety is happening. So the tram comes and then I get to my terminal and I start sprinting like y'all have never seen a girl sprint before. By the way, I'm not a runner. I hate cardio. I like a HIIT workout. I did 1 half marathon in my whole entire life, and I swore in my life after that it was the most miserable experience in my whole entire life, which, by the way, I didn't train for that. I just like to do things to challenge myself, and I was like, I don't know, woke up one day and I was like, I think I'm going to run a half marathon. Do not do that. My feet were bleeding. That's what you need to know. So I have not ran since then, but we're in the Singapore airline, and all of a sudden we're going for gold at the Olympics. Like, okay, I didn't even look that cool. I looked like a crazy person. If you saw my Instagram, you know. But what's crazy is the gates are so far apart in the Singapore airport. It is massive. So for me to go from 30 to 40 was probably a 1.5 mile run. So I'm running at this point soaking wet. I don't know what time it is. I don't know what day it is. All I need to do is get on this flight. By the grace of God, sweet baby Jesus, I thank you. I made that flight. I do not know how. People were even messaging me on Instagram being like, dude, the lucky girl syndrome, like you're beyond that at this point. Your luck is insane. And I'm like, I know, I don't get it either. It is truly wild to me, but I made the flight and we got to Bali. We made it. It was awesome. I truly don't understand how that happened, but I'm here, I'm thriving, I'm ready for an epic vacation. And I will say, I'm ready for this epic vacation, but my mom, Kim Willette, I don't know if you listen to this podcast, probably not, because I say the F word and I talk about my dating life, so she's definitely not listening. But I don't know if anyone else out there, do your parents, when you travel places, do they just send you every negative article known to man? Like, my mom is sending me articles on methanol poisoning. She's sending me articles on bungee jumping accidents gone wrong, which I know. I did want to bungee jump, and I understand why she's doing that, because it's probably not the safest in a foreign country. She's sending me articles about people dying on scooter accidents. She's sending me articles of people being robbed on the street, and I'm like, Mom, I was really excited about this trip, and now all of a sudden, I'm fearing for my life. So, trust me. I have been well prepared for Bali. I have every phone number of every hospital here. Thanks to Kim Willette, I know where to go if I get sick. I know where to go. I know the signs of methanol poisoning, which actually is, I'm sure a good thing to know. But my mom was like, I don't think you need to drink. You don't drink any of the alcohol. I was like, Mom, do you know who I am? I'm drinking alcohol in Bali. She was like, okay, well, only drink canned beer. And I was like, Mom, do you know who I am? I don't drink beer. And she was like, okay, well then just drink wine. I was like, Mom, I'm getting a spicy margarita. If there's a will, there's a way, and I will be drinking a margarita and probably risking it when in Bali. But I can report back that I have had many a cocktails and I have been fine. I think it's more so you can't go to kind of like these hole-in-the-wall bars, because apparently in Bali they watered down some of their alcohol with methanol, which if you even drink a little bit, you can be severely sick, possibly even die. So not to scare you guys if you're going to Bali, but you'll be fine. She's living, she's thriving. So when I land in Bali, I meet my driver. Because I'm alone for 2 weeks, I wanted to make sure I had a ride places, although it's really, really simple here. It's way more simple than I was thinking. I was like, oh my God, they don't have Uber. What do? I need to set up a driver. And I was like, plot twist. I really did not need to do that. They have this app called Grab and Gojek. You can basically order a scooter or a car. I did take the scooter, which Kim Willett also did not have great things to say about that, because I did post a story on my Instagram and I was on the back of a random man's scooter without a helmet, but he didn't offer me a helmet and I really only had to go 1 mile. I know the moms listening to this are going to reprimand me. Trust me. I know it was dumb. She learned her lesson. We are now in cars. We're not on the back of scooters, but it's just a common theme in my life. Anytime I'm in a foreign country, I somehow end up on the back of a scooter with a random man. Don't ask how. But what's kind of crazy about in Bali is these little men. Picture this: they're all in green little vests and they're on these scooters, and you can basically order one to pick you up, and you just like hop on the back. You just sling your leg up and around, and you basically hold this random man for dear life as he takes you to your destination. It's very, very strange, but apparently it's a thing in Bali. But I do have a driver. His name is Madej, and cutest man ever, y'all. I want to be his BFF. So like, I'm your internet BFF. Well, guess what? Madej's joining the gang. He's joining the BFFs because he's so precious. So he texts me as soon as I land. I don't even know how I found this. A friend of a friend sent me an address and was like, hire this driver. And I said, all right, cool. So he's my driver. And he sends me a little selfie with like a sign. He's like, I'm waiting for you. So I find him. He's my driver. We're chit-chatting. Immediately, sweet angel looks at me and goes, are you single? And I was like, yeah, I am hopelessly single. He was like, how? Like, sweet, curious soul. And I'm like, I don't know, Madej. I don't know how I'm single, but I am. And then we're chit-chatting. He's my age. And then I was obviously filming a story. And tell me how this man, I'm filming a story, I'm introducing Madej to the people of Instagram. And within the first 5 seconds, this man, I gotta applaud the hustle. He is able to plug his social media handle within the first 2 seconds. I'm like, oh my God, it's my friend Madej. And he's like, hey guys, follow me at whatever his name is, 147. I'm like, you know what, Madej? I support your hustle. You guys go follow my cutie little driver. And then he dropped me off, and now he is texting me basically every day asking if I want to go get lunch. And I'm like, Madej, I've got adventures to do. Sweet angel. No, I don't want to get lunch with you. But if anyone is coming to Bali and you need someone to drive you around, I will gladly offer you this man. So y'all, if you're still listening, and we've gone on quite a few little tangents in this podcast, I feel like I should get it together a bit. But you know what? I'm talking to my besties, and if I want to go on tangents, I'm going to go on some damn tangents. I also think that the jet lag is finally hitting me because I slept maybe 3 hours last night. So she is hanging on by a thread. But here is what we have done thus far in our first 48 hours in Bali. So it started in Seminyak, which is like the cute little beachy town right by the ocean. My hotel was the cutest place. Y'all, if you're in Seminyak, go stay at Hotel Indigo. They have a make your own fried rice bar, which I hit up both of the days that I was there. Did I have fried rice for breakfast? Maybe. Also, their avocado toast is bomb. But I immediately get there, and if you know me, I want to go explore the second I check in. I'm not someone, I will not go sit by a pool. I don't want to take a nap. We are going. So I put on a swimsuit. I go check out the beach, check out the restaurants, all the stuff. It is, oh my gosh, I really can't put into words what Bali is like. It is, and I'm sure if you've been here, you understand it. It really is magical. There is some kind of energy in the air, in the ground, I don't know. And it's just unreal. The people are so kind, so friendly, just so willing to help you. Like within the first 10 minutes, of course, I'm working with this hotel, so I'm having to take photos, and the workers are coming up to me. They're asking to take my pictures, my videos. What angles do you want? And it was so precious. I was eating dinner there my first night, and this cute little girl came up to me, and she's like, oh, are you an actress? And I literally started laughing, and I was like, no, I'm an influencer. I have no talents, but I take pictures for a living. And she was truly perplexed as to that. I was like, oh yeah, no, we are not an actress. I did an improv class once when I first moved to LA because I thought I was gonna be an actress. I actually had a manager I was taking commercial acting classes. I went on auditions, y'all. I never once got a call back because I was so bad. Why did I think I was going to be an actress? I don't know. But I did UCB improv classes. I don't know why. I guess someone told me it was a good idea. Anyways, I got so much anxiety because I'm a type A person that I skipped the final performance, and every single day before class, I would sit in my car and I would write out on a piece of paper all the ideas, because with improv, you go in there and they're like, say 3 random words, and from those 3 random words, you have to make a scene. Well, I can't think of 3 random words on the top of my freaking head, so I would make lists in my car. Anyways, that is why she is not an actress. So I had to tell the cutie server at the restaurant in Bali that no, I'm not a Hollywood actress. She's an influencer. But then after that, I went and took myself to a little solo dinner, which, by the way, if you've never eaten dinner by yourself, y'all, go do it. Literally, there's something freeing about it. You don't have to make conversation. You can people watch. You can order whatever you want. It has truly become one of my favorite things. And before I went on my first solo trip, I would have been terrified to do that. You would have not caught me dead eating alone. And now I honestly love it. Like, I actually had a friend in Bali reach out my first night, like, oh my gosh, do you want to meet up? And I actually said no. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take some time for myself. And every single time I travel, I make a point, I bring a journal, and I sit down and I write out what I'm feeling, what I'm nervous about, what I want to learn on the trip. I really do. And I'll post a picture on my Instagram of kind of what I did. I wrote down all my anxieties on this trip because it's normal. Anytime you travel, there's worries, there's fears. So I list all of that. And I did this on my first day there. And then next to that list, I write out everything that I want to let go of. Because I think the best thing about traveling is yes, you can see cool places and you can experience cool things, but you also can really learn a lot about yourself. You can come back a brand new person. I truly am convinced of that. So I make a list of everything that I want to let go of. Not me running upstairs to get my journal so I can read it to you guys, but no, I think this is quite interesting. Okay, here's what I wrote that I'm letting go of. And maybe you can relate to this. And I always like to share these things because I feel like people look at influencers. They look at people on the internet and they always seem so perfect and put together and like that there's nothing wrong. Like if you just glanced at my Instagram and saw my travel stories, you would think I'm thriving. You would think that I'm living my best life, that nothing is wrong, but like I'm a human. I have emotions, I have fears. So here's what I want to let go of on this trip. And then at the end of the trip, I'm gonna follow up with the list and see how I'm feeling, check in with myself and see if I was able to let go of any of this. So I'm letting go trying to be perfect all the time. I'm letting go of living for others' entertainment, which I think pertains a lot to social media. A lot of the times I feel like if I'm not being on, if I'm not constantly entertaining, then people are gonna get tired of me. But it's like, no, I need to live for myself first and then bring you guys along with me. I want to let go of fear of the future. I spend a lot of my time worrying about what tomorrow brings instead of living in the present moment. Next up, I'm letting go of living not in the moment. And I'm letting go of schedules, plans, to-do lists. Because if you know me, she is a type A girl who lives by a planner. But in Bali, there's just something freeing. There's something, I can't put my finger on it, but there's no need for a schedule. You just go with the flow. You are on island time, so I really want to embrace that. So y'all, that's we'll see. I mean, I've got one more solo episode to do, so I will give a follow-up to see if I was able to let go of all of that. And I just think it's so important to stress to, especially my ladies out there, you can travel by yourself. You truly can. When I was eating breakfast at my hotel yesterday, I'm just, beat bopping around by myself, getting my coffee, and there was probably like an 18-year-old server. So she came up to me and she was darling, the cutest girl, and she looked at me and she's like, oh, are you here by yourself? And I said, oh my gosh, yes I am. I'm doing a little solo trip. I'm here for a wedding and then I'm gonna travel after. And she looked at me and she, like, her jaw dropped. She's like, oh, I wish I could do that. I wish I was brave enough. Like, that's so amazing. And I looked at her and I was like, you can do it. anyone can do it. I didn't think that I could do it. Back, I was kind of forced into it on my Portugal trip, and then I just embraced it. And guys, you're a freaking badass. Every single one of the people listening to this, you are a badass. You can do the trip. You can take time for yourself. And most importantly, you deserve that. You deserve to thrive, to put yourself in the situation that you get to learn all these crazy things about yourself. So open up that American Airlines app, y'all. Get the Chase Sapphire Preferred card and book a freaking trip. Or I'm going to shamelessly plug myself right now because #influencer, maybe sign up for my Miles with Morgan trip. Just kidding. That one, actually, I'm going to Croatia in September, and then I just launched Portugal, and it did sell out instantly. But fun fact, I'm actually thinking of another one, and I'm thinking we might go to Thailand. I don't know. You heard it on the podcast first. Okay, so we've gone on quite a few Bali tangents, but I'm going to wrap this up because, one, I've got to go meet the wedding party for dinner. The wedding is actually tomorrow, so I get to see my beautiful friend get married to the love of her life. And I will share this story because I always think of her. Her name's Alondra. Alondra, if you're listening to this, I love you dearly. But anytime I get in a rush, I'm 29, but I mean, all of my friends from Texas, they're married, they have kids. I do look at that. I eventually do want that in my life, but it's not my time just yet. I know that, but I often do feel some pressure. But Alondra is 37, 38, and she's just now getting married, and she has found a gem of a human. Her fiance is a perfect fit for her. And I always talked to her about this, and she said, if I would have gotten married or rushed into it earlier, I would not have been ready. Like, I had to go through every bad date, every bad boyfriend. I had to have all the patience in the world to lead me to my person. And she's now, she's in her 30s, and she's just now getting married, and she's thriving. She's happy. Like, I see their love, and that's a love that I want. So if you're out there and you're whatever age you are, your person is waiting for you. You cannot rush it though. They will come to you when they're ready and when you're ready. So always think of Alondra. Her wedding is tomorrow though. And also, you know what's crazy? A wedding in Bali that I think she told me it costs $10,000. $10,000. There's 25 people at this wedding. Beautiful venue. All the alcohol is included in that. Food, $10,000. You know what a wedding in California would cost? With all of that, $100,000. So if you're out there and you're a bride planning a wedding, I don't know, maybe think about doing it from Bali. It will cost all of your guests probably around $3,000 to get there. But the more I think about it, and I used to want to have a wedding, I wanted 250 people. I want a black tie affair. I want everyone in ball gowns. I want all my friends, family, my 200 nearest and dearest friends. I want it in, I'm not going to get married in Texas probably, and I'm not going to get married in California. I don't know, maybe I'll find the love of my life in Nashville and we'll get married there. I don't know. But I used to want to have a massive wedding, and now that I've seen more of my friends have destination weddings, I'm like, I think you guys are onto something. One, it's cheaper. Two, I feel like it's a great way to weed out the people that you don't want. Like if you don't want your crusty Aunt June there, I don't know where that just came from. I don't have a crusty Aunt June, but if you don't want your crusty aunt there, she's probably not going to get on an airplane and fly to Bali. So I feel like that's a great way to just weed out the sucky family members that you don't want there and only have the people you want. So wedding is tomorrow. Then after that, I will spend, I think, one more day in Canggu. Then I head to Ubud. And in Ubud, I think this is what I'm most excited about. I'm going to an elephant sanctuary. So I'm going to get to bathe and play with baby freaking elephants. I am truly thrilled about that. Then we're going to a little day club, going to see the rice paddies, going to do a swing. I ended up splurging on a villa there because when I travel by myself, I always pick one place where I'm just like, I'm going to ball out. I've suffered in economy for 18 hours. I'm going to ball out on a villa. So that is the location where I got this insane, it's got an infinity pool. It's got a bathtub outside. I called them and I was like, I want rose petals in my bathtub. I want to take one of those, cliche Instagram photo rose petal baths. You guys will be seeing that on my Instagram. I want that. So that's going to be happening. From there, I go to a little island called Giddy. That's going to be an interesting one because I have to take a speedboat, a 3-hour long speedboat to get there. She gets seasick. So stay tuned. I'm just praying that I don't blow chunks everywhere because that is my worst nightmare, but probably going to happen to me. And then I'm there 3 nights. That'll be interesting because there's no cars on this island. You have to get everywhere by a buggy, pulled by a horse, or a bike. I'm like, will I make friends there? Who freaking knows? I'm not getting on dating apps because I deleted all of mine, but I might download Bumble BFF to try and make some friends because I've heard good things. From there, I go to Uluwatu for a couple of days. I'm going to try surfing. I don't know, I hang 10, bro. And then I go home. So I'm so excited. We've got epic adventures to come. And before we wrap up this podcast, we've actually chit-chatted for a while. I had my friend send me Am I the Asshole from Reddit. And I haven't looked at it yet, so I want to bring it up because I just think these are fascinating. I love weighing in, which, by the way, after my Catman, Am I the Asshole, 99.9% of people said I'm not the asshole. So thank you for that. He did suck. I forgot to mention in that podcast that he did text me probably 3 times after that saying he was disappointed in me for not responding because we had a genuine connection and I kind of ghosted. But bro, you stuck your hands inside the holes in my bodysuit. So I felt like I did not need to respond to you. But thank you guys for telling me that I am not the asshole. But okay, I am reading this for the first time. He sent it to me and was like, bring this up on your podcast. Let's see what the people have to say. I'm going to give you guys my honest opinion. Here is an Am I the Asshole from, I'm like kind of scared to read this. Okay, whatever. Am I the asshole for telling my sister I can't attend my brother-in-law's funeral? Oh, okay. My sister's husband recently passed away in an accident. This is a shock and absolutely devastating for us. The funeral's coming up soon. Oh, no. I'm sure all of you know Taylor Swift is currently on tour, and tickets for that were notoriously difficult to get. I've been a fan since I was a kid. My first ever concert was her Red tour. Her music has gotten me through some of the hardest moments and also probably my best memories. It might sound dramatic to some people, which is fine, but I truly feel Taylor and her music is a massive part of my life and shaped who I am. I know where this is going and I'm mortified. Me and my friend managed to get tickets to the Eras tour. The funeral is the date of our show. Oh my God. We want to get to the stadium by 5 at the latest. It'll take 40 minutes to get there, possibly more depending on traffic. And of course, I want to get ready before that. I have a specific outfit I'm going to wear. The funeral is in the afternoon, and the timing is very close. I wouldn't be able to make it to the stadium in time. I told my sister gently, I'm sorry, but I can't make it to the funeral. Oh my God. She didn't take this well and completely went off on me, calling me selfish and a bunch of other horrible things. I get she's grieving, so she's probably saying things without thinking, but even our parents are calling me unsupportive and selfish for not coming. Am I the asshole? Yes, you're the asshole. Okay, I will say I went to the Taylor Swift show and it was the most iconic, epic concert of my whole entire life. I'm actually looking at tickets because I want to go see her in Argentina with my sister. Don't ask, guys. Don't, you know what? Whatever. It's a sister thing. So I understand wanting to go. But family first, always. That's the rule of thumb I live by. Your family comes before everything. Because if everyone else leaves you in your life, your family will still be there whether you like it or not. Well, in hopefully most situations. And if your sister's grieving and just lost her husband, it's not like she lost her hamster. She lost her husband. And you skip it to go to the Taylor Swift concert. I'm sorry. You banned from the family. No more Christmas dinners for you. You are banned. Because I feel like you could easily sell that Taylor Swift ticket. People are spending thousands on those. Get the money for that, and then use that money to go see her in a different city. Look, keep your outfit. I understand the planning of the outfits and the makeup and the hair. It's a big deal. I think you should still go. I think you should just not skip a funeral to go to a Taylor Swift concert. What would Taylor Swift do? Taylor Swift would go to the funeral, you know? So y'all, let me know what you think. Are they the asshole or are they not? I'm over here like, no, there's no question. You're a big old asshole. But I hope you had a great time at the Taylor Swift concert. And I hope you didn't get rained on like I did. But you're still an asshole for skipping your sister's husband's funeral. And I totally understand if she never talks to you again. So I'm going to wrap up. Thanks so much for listening to the Your Internet Best Friend podcast. It's been real, it's been fun, and I will see everyone here next week. In the meantime, do all the podcast things, like, subscribe, give me a 5-star review if you please, and catch up with me on social media at Morgan Lee Willette. Bye, besties.